Hello everyone, and welcome to Left of Meta! The idea behind this series is to highlight some decent to good sets that can be good for either newer players who want a good starting point to work from, or for older players who just want to mess around and look at some of the sets that aren't Reliquin, Sororia, Yolnahkrin, and Olorime for their DPS tanks and healers. And before we get into the actual sets, a couple of very quick ground rules. First off, these sets will always be Overland PvP, crafted sets, or base game dungeons. And they will be tested alongside other sets, which will be listed in the video and linked in the description below. For the most part, those sets will be Leviathan from Crypt of Hearts and the Maelstrom Bow for stamina characters, Mother's Sorrow from Deshawn and the Maelstrom Staff for Magicka characters, Spell Power Cure and the Master's Resto Staff from White Gold Tower for healers, and Evan Armory for tanks. This video also includes the Selene monster set, found in Selene's Web. And with that out of the way, let's roll into today's set. This week's set is called Deadlands Assassin. It is one of the Overland sets for the Blackwood chapter, and because it's a new set, it's currently a little bit more expensive on guild stores. Given a few months or so, this will die down a little bit if you want to pick it up. This set grants the following benefits. At 2 items, it grants 129 weapon damage. At 3 items, it also grants 129 weapon damage. At 4 items, it grants 1,096 maximum stamina. And at 5 items, it grants another stack of 200 weapon damage. And dealing damage to an enemy within 10 meters of you with a heavy attack causes you to throw a cone of knives, dealing physical damage to enemies hit. If the enemy hit has 50% health or less, they also take an additional bleed damage over 13 seconds. These effects can occur once every 15 seconds and scale off of your weapon or spell damage, whichever is higher. All in all, this set has some pretty nice benefits. First and foremost, weapon damage, and weapon damage. This set gives a total of 458 weapon damage. And weapon damage is really easy to scale, and especially for newer players, is really easy to benefit from. So a set that gives a ton of that very easily is pretty good. And secondly, the bonus for doing your heavy attack on occasion is pretty darn good. It's a decent damage AoE, and if they're below half, it's a pretty hefty bleed. However, part of that is you have to work a heavy attack into your rotation, which is usually a damage loss, and you only get that bleed if they're below half. Now, on a heavy attack build, this is going to be outpaced by Stormmaster or Undaunted Infiltrator, but as a alternative proc set for low-level characters, I certainly think you could do worse than Deadlands Assassin, even if you're using it as just bonus damage. All in all, this is a pretty decent Stam DPS set. I don't think it fits into the heavy attack builds as much. I think you treat this as I can proc this every 15 seconds proc set that otherwise just gives me a ton of weapon damage. And it's consistently triggerable at its bonus AoE, and can act as just adding damage numbers on damage numbers in later fights. Now, I don't think that this is going to be, at all meta-breaking or meta-defining, but I think it's at least a decent, hey, this is a nice set to grab when you've just gotten your stamina DPS high level. You can buy, if this gets to the point of being relatively cheap on guild stores, like, say, Dragon Guard Elite is right now. This could be a really good just starter stamina DPS set. Well, that's all we have for this week. Hope you all enjoyed. Join us next week where we will be talking about the new set Frostbite. And until then, good luck, stay safe, and don't die.